app. It's called Outreach Circle. And today we have our volunteer for APIAVote and our relational organizing tool webinar guru, Wiley Chen, who's going to be presenting today. And then also, if you have any questions, the point person at APIAVote for our organizational app is going to be Christine Fan. And so she'll also be on the call. A little bit later on, our executive director, Christine Chen, will probably jump in the call also. So welcome to everybody. And go ahead, Wiley, this is, the show is yours.
Thanks. Chris, do you want to have people introduce themselves?
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. We're really excited you could join us today. I think the first thing that I would love for everyone to do is, since we have so many people here, is to kind of drop in the chat your name, where you're calling in from, and also if you're representing any organizations, we'd also love to know that. So feel free to drop in the chat as the event goes on. We can start now. And you already know us. I'm Chris, it's Wiley, and Yi.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, so let's get into it. So, relational organizing using Outreach Circle. So I'm really excited to share with you relational organizing, which is one of the most effective ways to organize people. So the question is, what is relational organizing? And this was a question that, you know, when someone's like relational organizing and they were talking to me about relational organizing, and I went to all these trainings and read up on it, and, you know, checked on all these like online tools to figure out what relational organizing is. And at the end of the day, it was extremely simple. And I figured out relational organizing is simply friends connecting with friends about the issues they care about. And it's really that simple. But what makes, and so, you know, as you think about relational organizing in like a context of reaching people to do a campaign or get them to support, you know, a politician, or in this case, you know, supporting this election, getting people out to vote. Of course, more people trust their friends more than a stranger, right? And so someone reaching out to someone they already know is way more effective than someone they don't know. And if you get a call from an organizer asking you to vote, it'd be easier for you to ignore that person, right? But if your best friend texted you or called you and was like, hey, you have to come, you have to register to vote, you got to make sure you vote, you have a lot more, it's a lot more effective, right? And especially in today's media landscape, we're seeing that the messenger matters as much, if not more, than the message itself. So it's not surprising that you're up to 10 times more effective in getting your friends to vote than a stranger, and can increase voter turnout by up to 20% in any given campaign. So relational organizing works. So one of the things about relational organizing, and, you know, again, it's been, the concept has been used throughout time, right? It's basically just talking to your family and friends and people you know to take action on something. And it's really effective, right? But utilizing our technology, utilizing digital tools, it makes it that much easier. So we've adopted Outreach Circle, which is an online relational organizing platform to help us assist with our efforts. So why would we use a digital tool, but Outreach Circle in particular? Well, the great thing about these tools is, you know, if you're doing relational organizing just on your own, you text someone, you email someone, you call someone, and you're like, oh, who did I talk to? Oh, they may have done something, they may have not done something. And then keeping up with the issues. I'm not sure what was shared and what was not shared. Having a tool like Outreach Circle allows you to connect with APIAVote's efforts, activities, and action items in real time. It makes it easy for you to stay informed and get involved with efforts. You don't need to check multiple sources like Facebook, oh, they're doing something here, and Instagram, oh, I heard something here. I got an email about this. You can go to one place and get all your information in real time to push out messages and activities and actions that you would want your networks to do. It's also fun and easy to use, right? When it's easy to use and it's fun to use, it's a lot more effective, right? It also helps us track the network and the progress. And again, like if you text a friend, you don't know what happened, right? But with Outreach Circle, when you text a friend, you'll know whether or not they've taken action on something or not. And that helps us track progress and impact and gauge the overall efficacy of the efforts. And you can also focus on people who haven't taken action yet. So knowing that someone has taken action, you can go to your other friends and go, hey, they did it. You gotta jump on this. We need your help, right? And the great thing is it's really easy and accessible. You can use it on a mobile app or a web browser. You don't have to download the app if you don't want to. You can use a mobile web browser if you'd like, and so you can use it, on your computer, on your tablet, any type of device you want. It's accessible, which is great. So one of the big questions I always get: how secure is it, right? And that is obviously an incredibly important question. And one of the great things about Outreach Circle is that it respects your privacy and confidentiality. It's not only one of the most effective ways to build a great network and make an impact in voter engagement, but it's also incredibly secure. Outreach Circle and APIAVote will never share or sell any of your contact information with any third party. The contacts are kept private, and Outreach Circle and APIAVote will not have access to any of your contact information, such as email and personal phone numbers. Only you have them. And the messages come from you. So even though the action is created by APIAVote, when you reach out to your friends, it's you texting them, it's you emailing them. And we'll have templates and we'll have samples that you can use to reach out to your friends, but it's really all coming from you. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Again, one of the nice things about Outreach Circle is that it helps you connect through basically any type of communication method, right? Phone, social media, text, email. And so it's a great tool to use to make things simple for you to reach out to people. We're all busy. We all have a lot of things going on. And so, sitting down and like crafting your own email or finding information out and sending it to people takes time. And so we make it as easy as possible through Outreach Circle to get the message out as quickly as possible to as many of your friends as possible. So what I would love for everyone to do is take out your phones. If you have an Android, it's the top QR code. So you open your camera and you can just put your camera on the QR code, and a banner should appear that allows you to link directly to the App Store. That will take you directly to Outreach Circle. If you have an iPhone, same thing, it's the bottom QR code. So if you could do it right now, that would be awesome. And if the QR code doesn't work for whatever reason, you can just visit the store and just search Outreach Circle and then download it from there. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. I'll leave this up just for a few minutes so you can pull out your phone and do that real quick. And as you're doing that, I'll just add that the web browser is good, and you can bookmark it on your phone, or you can definitely utilize the web browser, and you don't have to download this if you don't want to. But apps are generally a lot more user-friendly, easier to use, it's a lot cleaner. And so I always prefer downloading apps because functionality-wise, they often are a lot more superior to using the web browser for all of these actions. Although Outreach Circle does a really good job of making them pretty equal, the app is pretty impressive to use, and it's really easy to use. So go ahead and do that. And again, if you don't want to, that's okay. We have another way later down, but if you could do that, that would be awesome. Download it, okay, and then I'll go to the next slide. Yes, and yes, thank you, Chris. It's free to download. It's very important. It is absolutely free to download. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through step by step, just make it really easy because we want you all to just get on it right now, right? So first things first, what we want you to do, you'll see a sign up page after you download, you open it up and you just sign in, click on that. And then over here, second step, you can sign in through Google, Facebook, Apple, or your email, whichever one you prefer to use. Go ahead and do that. And after you sign in, and I'll skip this part, but I'll give you a little bit of time to do this. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions, and actually, it asks you like a few questions. It's actually really, really good in terms of signups go, because a lot of them ask you for everything. This has a couple quick things: your name, email, zip code, and phone number. I think that's all they ask you for. So you can take about 30 seconds to sign up real quick. And again, this is the Apple iPhone sample. So your Android may look slightly different, but it should be about the same as this. So after you're done signing in and getting your account, it'll look something like this on an iPhone and something similar on an Android. And you go down and click on Explore, and you'll see search for an outreach circle. So with that, there we go. With that, we are going to give you a code based off of what group that you fall into, so that we can craft our messaging and craft our actions around what's most relevant to what you're going to be doing in your communities. So Chris, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one thing that's really lovely about Outreach Circle is that you can sort people into groups based on kind of how they relate to the community you're working with. So this is kind of how we've divided it. So I'll start with the side on the left, which is the national, regional, and community organizations. I saw that a lot of y'all dropped in that you were representing an organization, so this might be the category that you fall in. Now, these types of organizations have a wide community network, and what we'd want them to do is bring in other community organizations into the loop, and also talk to their own individual network. So as you can see from here, I don't know, can't see where my mouse is circling, but I'm circling around community organizations. A lot of what they would do is kind of sharing our posts, making sure that like their existing community kind of knows, like is able to like know what other trainings, what other events are happening within that community. On the other side, individual volunteers are kind of folks that are like, oh, I might like be following, this community organization, but I'm not representing it, right? And I still want to get involved, and I still want to like amplify APIAVote's like messaging. I want to like reach out to my friends to make sure they're registered to vote. So they would fall into that bucket. We also have a separate, on the right side, a separate like kind of youth-oriented program where the messaging or like the outreach strategy might be similar, but the messaging is very much targeted towards youth and young adults. And so if if in college, if you remember like your local like Asian American student organization, or like maybe like Greek life group that's wants to get civically engaged, that would fall under that upper umbrella of any like college, university, or youth-led organizations. And then because it's that targeted messaging, there's also the individual youth volunteers, which operate similarly, but again, with different messaging. I know if that was a little confusing, I can go over it, but I'd love like a thumbs up or like a got it in the chat if you do understand kind of how the different groups are broken down. And the reason why we have this, again, like it's just kind of like filtering out if you're a national, if you're like a different community organization, what kind of like actions we're asking you to do versus individual volunteers, because they can be structured differently. And if you are a community organization, they go like text 5 friends, like I can text way more than 5 friends, then that's a very different type of action. Okay, I got it in the chat, so I'm going to assume all 27 of you have got it. But with that in mind, if you're not clear on kind of where you fall in this umbrella, you can also just ask in the chat and let us know. And so Wiley is going to show us on the next slide if you're representing an organization. So that first one, what code you should put in if you're just an individual volunteer, or if you're a youth affiliated organization, which 3 of these you should be joining into. So we'll give you
That's
a second
great.
to.
So yeah, so in that box, you definitely just want to put any of those 3, depending on where you feel like you would fall in, based on what Chris said. And so the search box, once you type these the six-digit code in, APIAVote will pop up, and you just click on that, and then add it to your supporting organizations, and you should be all set. Okay. So I added this one just in case there were some people on here that were like, you know what? I don't want to download another app. So you don't have to download an app. You want to double back and make sure those that missed the app piece, you can also go here. You can use your camera and follow the QR code link, or just if you're on your computer, you can actually even, set it up on your computer and click on the link right there. What will pop up is the sign up page. Actually, you know what? It'll go straight to Outreach Circle. It won't take you to APIAVote. It'll take you straight to Outreach Circle, and then you have to sign up as you would have with the app. You go to the step 3, you sign up, and then you want to plug in the code here. And what we can do, Chris, can you here? Let me actually. I'm presenting org. I'm going to type it in here, and then that way, if you're still working on it and we're still moving ahead, you can refer back to it here.
Chanda, the screen that asks for the code should be when it's the search icon on the left side, and then when it has that little search bar up there, you can type in the code to find APIAVote.
Yep. Great. Okay, so after you've signed up, after you've linked to APIAVote, which is wonderful, there will be actions that will ask you to do. And the first one here is to invite more people to Outreach Circle. And it's a very simple action that we have. It's the first initial action that you'll see. And it'll look something like this. And then you want to click share it with your friends. I'm going to take you through 2 different methods of doing this. And after we kind of go through this, all other actions and all other sharing and connecting with people through this app will be done in a similar manner. So once you kind of get acclimated to this, we'll walk you through this. You'll be a pro. So click on share it with your friends. And so here I have different types of actions you'll see. Kind of mentioned it in the last slide, but just to give you a sense, you're going to see not only share things with your friends or invite friends to join Outreach Circle, You'll see things like start a conversation by sharing APIAVote's breadth of community video with at least 10 friends and have a discussion about the video. You'll see things like share the voter registration link to at least 10 of your friends. Invite friends and ask them to invite another 10 friends to register to vote on National Voter Registration Day, which is on September 21st. Or host at least 20 of your friends for a watch party for the presidential debate on September 28th. So these are actually not even examples. These are actually actions that you're going to see over the next month, and you're going to see a lot more after that, all the way up until the election, that you can plug into, get your friends connected, and hopefully have them connect with their friends as well. So after you click share it with your friends, it'll pop up and say, text your friends, email your friends, or share to an app. So we're gonna start with text your friends. It's probably one of the easier ones to do. Click on text your friends, and here's what you will see. This will pop up. And again, it'll look a little bit different on your web browser, and it'll look a little bit different on Android, but it'll be about the same. This is on the iPhone app here. Personalize your message. When you click on that, there'll be a pre-written message from us that you can use. We highly recommend that you personalize it in your own voice so that your friends know it's you, and it's, you know, coming more personally. Talk about why you're doing this, you know, as quickly, I guess, as a text. So I guess you don't want to be too wordy, but make it personalized. Say what you want, edit it, click done, and then add your contacts. So here you can add a contact. The top one says add a contact. That's doing it manually. Then you have all the different ways you can add it from your phone, all your contacts that are existing on your phone. That's probably the best way to do it, since it's all your contacts are on your phone. But if you have, like, you know, Yahoo contacts, Outlook contacts, or contacts from another third-party provider, you can do that here as well. I would recommend just putting all your contacts in there. Again, it's super private, so no one's going to have access to it. There'll be, you know, all the contacts you have at your fingertips. After you've added your contacts, you know, imported, you can search people, but then the ones that pop up, you can go down the list and just send it. Send it to the people that you want to send it to. It won't do like send all, so you can be selective about who you want to send to. Pick the people you want, and once you hit send, it goes directly to that individual, and you can do it 10 times, 20 times. You say at least 10, so do like 30, 40. If you got a lot of people that you think would be interested, send it to them all. If you're heading up an organization and you have folks, you definitely are going to be specific. So if you have a national organization and you have chapters around the country, of course, you'll want to specifically send them out to the chapter presidents so that they can get to their membership members in their chapters. And so it all depends on how you are going to reach out to folks and at what level. But again, you know, this is very versatile. You can do both. And once you hit send, you're all done. And that's it. So the second method I wanted to kind of talk through is using the same share it with your friends button, is share to an app. So if you're very active on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, WeChat, any other type of social media, this is a great way to do it. On the Apple iPhone, it'll look something like this, and then you can scroll through. It'll give you previews of certain apps. But if you click on the More button at the end, you scroll, all of these different, all of these different apps will show up, and then you click the one that you want to use. do have a screenshot of the Android one. The Android one looks like this. So you can pick, of course, any type of app that you like. So if we're picking one, let's say we pick Facebook. Facebook. Oops. All right. And we'll click happy here. Facebook, and so it'll look something like this. APIAVote, welcome to APIAVote, and it's the link to the outreach circle to share with people, say something, type something about it, and then click next, and you are done. Very, very simple. Those are the two types of actions, but all the other actions, like the other action of like email is almost identical to the texting action as well. So once you kind of do it once or twice, you're really an expert, and you can just utilize that to reach out to all of your networks and all your contacts and all your friends and family to really spread the message and maximize the power of relational organizing. And again, it's been proven to work extremely effectively, and it makes sense, right? Because if your friend's telling you something, of course I'm going to listen. Someone you don't know, it's going to be harder for me to listen, especially in this political climate when we're talking about so many things and people are so untrusting. People that they trust are their friends. That's what relational organizing is about. And I'm very excited for all of you to use it. And I'm so excited that it seems like a lot of you downloaded it, and we're going to hopefully take this out for a spin and really make a big impact in this coming election in terms of APIAVote, APIA's involvement and impact in this coming election. So thank you, and I'll leave it to questions now. Oh.
I think Shonda has a question about that she only sees her emails showing, not her name, not the names. I think she's maybe talking about the contacts. Shonda, do you want to address that question you have?
So since Shonda is a attendee, we can't answer it.
That's okay.
She can't speak
That's
out
okay.
directly.
Actually,
Okay.
can you move her over? You can move her over.
While you're doing that, I can actually try to answer that. The contacts are based off of your contact list. So depending on what list of contacts you ported over, I know that in my phone, my phone, I actually have multiple contacts in my phone from different sources that are kind of all meshed together. Some of them only have an email. So I'll be like Christine Chen, and it only shows her email. And then someone's Christine Chen and only shows her phone number. And then I have to merge them, and I have to take time to merge them all. So I have a lot of those types of contacts, and it's only because they've come from different places, and one's from Outlook, and I got it from Outlook, and one from iPhone, and one from Android. So I think that might be why you're seeing that some of them only have the email. So you can fix it by, they might be doubled up in your names might be doubled up, possibly, or you can just manually put it into the contact when you can adjust their contact.
Also, Wiley, another question is, can a person join both an organization as well as an individual? Yeah,
you actually can. What we'll do is some things will double up in terms of your actions. So you'll see the same action twice. But yeah, you can. You'll just be getting different types of actions that kind of, if you're doing youth organizing, there may be things that are specific to youth or college students. But if you're also in a national organization, you also get like actions that are tailored to national outreach in reaching out to different chapters. So yeah, there's no harm in jumping on both. You'll just get multiple actions, and so you'll just want to decide which one you want to utilize. You know, so it's entirely up to you.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, just keep in mind that, like, you know, in one vote you're representing an organization, in another vote you're just representing yourself as an individual, and there are some overlapping actions. So just like keep in mind, like, oh, in this one I'm representing an org. In this action, even though it sounds similar, I'm representing just myself.
So in terms of shelf life of the contact names in your app, again, it lives on your phone, so it doesn't get ported anywhere. So as long as you have your app, you can delete the app, and yeah, or even delete the account. I would assume you can just delete your account, and there won't be any traces of the contact names. So that would be an option to, you know, in terms of the shelf life of the contacts in the app and whether it goes through the election or not. It goes until you have the app or have the account with Outreach Circle. Hope that answers this question. And next question. So if you have an organization, do you know how many people are in your network, including those recruited by other people? Can you send them custom messages? So you can only send custom messages to the people in your contact list that you're contacted with. And so if you contact with someone and then they contact their friends, you don't have access to them, but you will. What we do track is the actions taken. So if the actions are taken down the line through third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, we'll be able to see the actions that are taken. However, we won't be able to, you wouldn't be able to, and we wouldn't even be able to reach down 2 or 3, you know, degrees down and contact that person and send them a direct message. The only people you can send direct messages to are the people within your network.
Maybe it would be good to, can we backpedal to that one graphic with like the different groups and arrows, Wiley?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like if y'all need clarification, and I think that will help clarify how these groups are divided. So in terms of like setting up an organization, let's say as an organization, you're joining this network of like how to amplify different get out the vote efforts. The actions themselves and like the dashboard are APIAVote the APIAVote admin side. So we're the ones like compiling like which actions to take. And then the relationship between the national or like the different community organizations and the individual volunteers is not that the organizations are directly managing the volunteer groups. It's that we're helping build, like, basically you're taking actions as a supporter representing community organization versus as an individual volunteer. Do you get the difference between that, Shonda, versus like setting up your own outreach circle and setting up your own organization, or you're setting up your own org in outreach circle? Let me know if not.
Chanda, you should be able to speak.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, okay, I can speak. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought I was just permanently muted. So just so that I understand, we have, so APIAVote is going to be giving the actions that we're going to be doing. So I was a little bit confused when it says individual versus group versus APIA.
Right.
Just kind of what the hierarchy looks like and how our organization, you know, is our organization going to be able to track how well we're doing? Because I'd like to be able to say to my organization, hey, there's, you know, we have 4,000 people on our Facebook page. Why aren't 4,000 people on there? Can we kind of push it? Are we going to have that data to be able to encourage people to get on there?
That's a good question. So in terms of the group that you're in, you'll primarily get a lot of the same type of messaging, but some of them might be like, you know, reach out to your, if you're head of an organization, it'll be like, reach out to your, you know, leaders, your, you know, chapter leaders or local organization leaders to activate their base, activate their chapters to do X, Y, Z. And so if you're part of the national, regional, and community organizations group, you would get messages like that. If you're an individual volunteer, we wouldn't say, there wouldn't be an action available that said, reach out to your chapter leaders, you know, right? And so it would be more like, get your friends to be involved with, you know, this particular action. And so that's just the only difference. And I think there was another question that kind of relates to what I think what you're saying is, besides organization, individual, can I simultaneously join other codes that come up in my search bar? And so it's like, if you're part of the national, regional, community organization and you're an individual volunteer, you would get both messages and both actions. And so you can decide which one you want to take or how you want to take them, because one, you might be like, I'm going to put my national leader hat on, and I'm going to, you know, this action looks like it's directed to my chapters. And, oh, you know, here's another action that I can send to my friends and family. And so
Wiley, this is Christine. I think the question that Chanda as well as Roland from OCA, they're all having is that they would like to get reports back in terms of how well their groups are activating. So that's why I was wondering, on the back end, can we at least provide like weekly reports to the organizations and take a look to see how well their networks are doing?
Chris, it looks like Chris, you have an answer to that?
Yeah, so basically how this kind of works is that you're, Wiley explained it really well, right? The organizations, like I said, you're putting your organization hat versus your individual volunteer hat. The volunteers are built in one kind of collective bucket. So for example, Chanda might outreach to a bunch of individual volunteers in your network, but we wouldn't be able to break down specifically how much, like who did you refer in this network and how many actions did they take, because they're all kind of bucketed under one volunteer.
So we would be able to know how effective everyone is as an aggregate in terms of the granular of your organization and your contacts, or in your chapters or your organization, local organizations. I think what Chris is saying, that we wouldn't be able to sparse it down at that level. We would know in terms of the entire group how many actions were taken. So we can provide like a large scale report. I think you should be able to see how many actions are taken for your contacts, but if it goes down to the chapter level, I think it's harder to do. And I don't think Outreach Circle is set up to get that granular in terms of the reporting.
The only other option for Chanda or some of the groups that have national affiliation or local affiliates is that we could look to see how much it would cost extra if we created additional circles just for you.
And we can actually do that. It just costs more to add more circles, but that would be a possibility. Absolutely.
So the volunteers, so right now the data that we'll be getting is national numbers. So how the AAPI community is doing nationally. Is that how it's kind of set up right now?
Sorry. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Sorry. The question was, right now, the way it's set up is that APIA is considered to be one big group, and then everybody that participates under that is the data that you are currently collecting, unless we do the separate group thing. But as of right now, it'll be, you know, we have, you know, 4,000 people nationwide participating, and we had, you know, 30,000 texts. Is that, I guess it's just a national bucket, is that right?
Yes, correct. You are correct.
Christine, how easy or Wiley or Chris, how easy is it to set up one just like the one just like ours, APIAVote's own outreach circle for like an organization like Chanda's, where she wants to be in control of the data that comes back?
Yeah, so I think the next step really is going to be for those that are serious about activating, and you really want to activate your local chapters. Depending on how many requests we get, then we could go ahead and figure out what maybe that APIAVote goes ahead and goes to that next level of subscription to be able to create these additional outreach circles.
Yeah. And Chanda, that's if I think it was Chanda. If you're looking at really beefing up your network and having your own, I think that's pretty awesome. That's pretty amazing to be able to do that and have that many people to have a group and to be able to track. I think that would be great if we can swing that. Yeah.
We're currently doing it manually. So this would be really nice because we are literally doing sort of our networking or relationship organizing through Google Docs sheets. So I like this idea to be able to do it digitally.
Yep, absolutely. Great. Oh, is there info available in the app for each state? What actions are we supposed to be taking in addition to inviting people to join the network? There's not information for each state, but the actions will all be different as I think, here we go. The actions that we mentioned, there's a list of actions that you'll see leading up to a lot of the voter registration campaign, the Get Out the Vote campaign, voter protection. So you're going to see a lot of different things throughout these next 2 months up and leading up to the election that ranges from, getting people involved, hosting your own event, getting people to register to vote, and so you'll see a lot of different types of actions that you'll be able to do that will be concrete, and you'll be able to see results in terms of making sure people are registered to vote, making sure people have gone out and voted, and so you'll see a lot of actions like that leading up to the election.
So I think for any of the national organizations that are interested in fully engaging their local chapters, if you could put in that request to Wiley at volunteer@apiavote.org, that will really be great. Then that way we could really assess how we need to create that infrastructure.
Any other questions? Sure, I think we can provide this. Let me make sure. Okay. Great. Any other questions? Awesome. Again, you can reach out to me or Chris anytime. You have any questions, just shoot us an email. We'll get back to you and answer any questions you have. And for some of the other questions, we'll work with Christine to figure out if we can, get another group for those national organizations that are looking to track, and yeah. thank you, everybody. Oh.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Have a great day. Any other questions, just be sure just to email either Wiley or Chris anytime.
Thanks, everybody.